Hi, everyone. We are very happy to welcome you all to the first HCA Town Hall of 2025. We've got a packed agenda ahead with many important updates and presentations. Before we dive into today's program, we'd like to take a moment to reflect on the milestones we've achieved together over the past year. It's been another remarkable year for the Human Cell Atlas community, and that's thanks to your dedication and to your contributions. So, most importantly, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you, the HCA community. Your expertise and your collaborative spirit have driven our progress, and we are incredibly proud of what we've accomplished together. So, let's get started. We have an exciting agenda lined up today, and we look forward to engaging with you all throughout the session. Please submit your questions as they come up by typing them in the Q&A section of your Zoom screens, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can as we go along and at the end of the town hall. So, in the last months of 2024, 2 more bionetworks completed their initial atlases. The organoid bionetwork created atlases of neural organoids and of endoderm-derived tissues, and the eye bionetwork created a retina atlas. You'll hear more about the Retina Atlas today from Dr. Ray Chen, the Eye Bionetwork Coordinator, who's joining us for this session. So we're very lucky and delighted to have him here. Looking ahead, over the next 6 months, we aim to have draft atlases from several more HCA bionetworks, so that by the time we meet in Singapore this summer for the HCA General Meeting in 2025 in Singapore, our goal is to have reached the midpoint of assembling version 1 of the HCA Atlas, with draft atlases from 9 out of 18 biological networks. So we have 50% of our bionetwork atlases completed by mid-year. So in November, we were very excited to reveal a major milestone, the publication of over 40 papers in Nature and associated journals in Nature Publishing Group as part of a landmark Human Cell Atlas collection, a fantastic bundle of papers. These papers, and you can see the beautiful covers here that were designed by members of the community, and they're really beautiful. We're absolutely delighted. So the papers broadly grouped into 3 categories that you can see here on the landing page: analytical methods, developmental biology, and atlas integration, of course, that we'll come on to later today in the session. And it also includes a paper from the HCA Ethics Working Group presenting a data sharing ethics toolkit, and a paper from the Equity Working Group explaining HCA's commitment to building an atlas that represents and benefits all of humanity. We encourage you to explore the full collection on the Nature website on the landing page, which also includes an editorial, an immersive feature article, all research articles and perspectives, and a news and views piece. And I'll hand over to Aviv now.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. So first of all, the Atlas, the publication bundle had a really amazing pickup in both in the science and in the general media. You can see everything from like BBC News to The Economist reported on it. And that was exciting. I think people now appreciate very much both what the Atlas is and why it is important to do it. But one of the questions you get a lot after and during a publication bundle, and definitely one of the questions that journalists ask is, are you done, or when will you be done, or what is still needed in order to be done? And so it's kind of useful, if we go to the next slide, please, to think a little bit about where are we headed. And we see 3 major areas of focus. The first one is in the Healthy Atlas. It is still true that a vast amount of what we've done in the Healthy Atlas is centered on single-cell genomics and especially on single-cell RNA-seq. But of course, in the last few years, the Atlas has really transitioned to other levels, to a multi-omics level at the single-cell level, including chromatin and proteins and metabolites and so on, and also to the spatial level. The second dimension, if you can still go back to the previous slide, the second dimension is the dimension of human diversity, looking across different individuals. The atlas is diverse from day one because, of course, scientists have been doing the studies in many different places, but now we have the opportunity to really get to proper human diversity scale. And the third dimension is in the application to disease. And so the atlas has always been envisioned as a reference to advance our understanding of human disease. And we have seen this across many different studies. So if we go to the next slide, a few of the illustrative examples, really a handful, that have really shown in the last few years were, of course, the big effort on COVID-19, including a recent study in the past year on fatal COVID-19 in the African population, enhancing the understanding of neurodegenerative diseases that really requires comparing post-mortem brain from individuals that have passed from, for example, Alzheimer's disease to the brain reference atlas, which allowed now to develop an understanding of the cells that are implicated at different steps in the progression of neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's. Studies into inflammatory bowel disease, both the common form, the common complex form, and the rare form, to identify the cells where the genetic variants that are associated with disease are active, and even helping with generating the necessary predictions of manipulations that would be needed in order to make better cell therapies, which really takes us not just from understanding of disease, but actually to treatment of disease. And so, in the next slide, please, if we start envisioning what the next 5 or so years, 5 to 6 years are going to look like, here are the 4 major things on our roadmap. We have to complete the first version of the atlas. This includes both completing the integration efforts and the annotation efforts, and we're going to hear about examples like those today. We have to build the atlas from its first version, which is cell-centric, into a spatial 3-dimensional atlas. This will include a major data collection effort that, of course, some of it has already been done, but we need to put it really on steroids, and we'll hear about that a little bit today. We need to make sure that the atlas is globally representative, both in the scientists that do it and in the samples that we study. And in order for the atlas really to have its impact, we need the necessary algorithms and platforms and portals so that we can query it to the max, obtain the information that we need, and provide all of that to the many, many different types of users: biologists, computer scientists, physicians, and even the general public through different types of tools and of portals.